Good morning. Hello. We are going to have fun today. I love doing copper. Oops. Don't like listening to myself on the computer though. I am doing, and let me look here so I pronounce it correctly. Jean-Baptiste-Siméon Chardin is the somewhat correct. Let's just call him Chardin. But that's his full name. Jean-Baptiste-Simeon Chardin. I do not speak French, so please forgive my butchering. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do just a study on here of the piece that you can see in the upper left-hand corner of your screen there. Let's make sure everything's kosher. I've got my coffee, but it's definitely getting to be fall here. I'm in Kansas, and I wanted to switch to this cup, but I mean, you can't see it if so I'll save that for my other ones. He was born November 2nd, 1699 in Paris, France. And I will go over what supplies, what paints I have here that he uses. If you've been here before, the first thing you're going to notice is I've already toned the surface. That's because that's how he would have done it. So I thought there's no reason. Yeah. Sometimes I can't do exactly the way that he did it because of the time frames and supplies that are available. But there was no reason for me not to. Anyway, he died December 6th in 1779 in Paris. He's associated with the Rococo, but his work is more subdued, realistic, and intimate compared to the decorative extravagance of artists like Boucher and Fragonard. Fragonard? Sorry, like I said, I do not speak French. Please forgive me. Okay, pigments. Experts and conservators and scholars and all the people that know much more than me say that he used colors like yellow ochre, yellow and red ochre, but I have a yellow ochre, umber, I have burnt umber, burnt sienna, and then white. He used lead white, but obviously, I mean, I could do that, but I'm using titanium white. And then his other colors, used a black or lamp black. I believe I'm using a Mars black just because, no, that's ivory black, just because that's what I had out and available. For his blues, he used ultramarine, a natural ultramarine, not the synthetic that we use today. He used it very sparingly because it was very expensive at that time. He used smalt, a glass-based blue pigment, less intense but more affordable than the ultramarine. On the greens, he used verdigris, which is a copper-based green. I live near a river that is called verdigris, and the river itself has that look to it. But I've got some viridian here, and I'm hoping I can tone it down and make it earthy enough with the other paints. The yellows he used a Naples yellow and a yellow ochre. I do have cad yellow and yellow ochre. I have this color I mixed over here for a, what was it for? I don't know, it must have been last week's, but it's kind of an orangey and it looks just like that copper, some of the copper areas on there. And it's a mixture. I do ask that if you're here, please feel free to comment, leave a thumbs up, share, do whatever you feel comfortable doing. This is not a very formal presentation. This is very laid back, and this is a study, not a copy. A study is where we look at what he used and how he used it and work with the image that they created and play with it a little bit. If we were doing a copy, which I've seen some amazing ones on YouTube. I saw a Rembrandt yesterday that was, yeah, it makes me want to. But where was I going with this? But this is going to be, it won't be exact. The brush strokes will not be exact. We're going to try and get the feel. Usually we get pretty close, but that gives us some leeway in there. Also, there will be a time-lapse replay. This usually takes me about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours to do this study. But then I do a time-lapse. Usually it's like 15 minutes or so once I get in there and edit it and everything, but it does not come out until the next day. He used subdued tones. He preferred muted harmonies over strong contrast, often mixing earth with black and white to achieve soft transitions. Limited bright accents. You see the reflections on the copper pot up here, but they're not. I'm sure you've seen some people's metallics or some artists' metallics, and they are just, it's obvious. It's like glass. It just reflects off of it. His don't do that. He was a master of neutrals. He was especially skilled at subtle grays and browns, which gave everyday objects dignity and atmosphere. His palette aligned perfectly with the subject matter: kitchen utensils, bread, fruit, humble interiors. He did do some self-portraits that I really, really like. I unfortunately could not find one quick enough. Let me double check my desktop here. No. If you look up his name on self-portrait, there's some nice ones. Let's see. For this study of Chardin's copper pot, we're going to use base tones of burnt sienna, reddish tones, and then we're going to build it in with the yellow ochres in here and on here. He would have worked with a not a white surface. He would have toned it like this. I went ahead and took the liberty of just kind of drawing it in a little bit while I was waiting for the clock to tick. So all this is just a burnt umber wash on there. This is paper with a couple of layers of gesso on it. It's a watercolor paper, so it's a little heavier. And then our midtones are going to build, well, let's just start painting. You know what? let's not talk about it. Let's just do it. The brushes that I've chosen to get out, this one is a very worn out rosemary. They do not look like this unless you have worked them to death. And I've worked that one hard. I've got a Winsor & Newton, I believe. Yes. I've got some poppy seed, no, sorry, walnut oil. I've got walnut oil over here and some mineral spirits in containers that I'm going to use to clean my brushes. I'm just getting another glove on. Mainly because I'm using mineral spirits at the moment and I don't want that to get on my hands. There are less toxic ways to do oil painting. Okay, let's see. I'm looking at my notes. Let's just start. What I usually do is kind of like an underpainting, and then I build the colors out from there, is how I do it. This says he starts with warm earthy colors like burnt sienna, transparent red oxide, or red ochre as his base tones. So I know you can't see what I'm mixing up here because of the reference photo. So let's I'm gonna move that off. Go away. You'll still be there. And I'm mixing too far over that way. But I've got some burnt sienna and burnt umber over here kind of mixed. And I'm just going to go in and get the... And this is just like, sort of like a rough draft. Just to get some of the tones, the values in. It's beautiful here today. It's overcast, but it feels like fall. It's great. I love it. I usually have a item, a white like poster board blocking my window so you don't get those light reflections on here, and I went and took it off because the light is so much better today without it. I have blinds on my windows, so it and if you look in there, there's some like the blues, there's a blue tone to the whites. Try and get some of that out there. But I'm going to block in these. Where's my blue? And right now I'm only using mineral spirits. To thin them out. Mineral spirits will dry pretty quickly. And I'll be able to just go over them with walnut oil and in my paint. Nice shadows in here. So what are you all working on? What's everybody... Did you do anything fun this weekend? If you are new to the Master Study Mondays, there's a whole playlist of different ones. Right now, my plan is to do these until the end of the year. That's not, at least. That's getting some nice tones in there. On Thursdays, I've been doing oil pastel, but I think I may be changing things up because it just doesn't naturally fall there. That goes out a little further. Yeah. Also, I've got a mirror here that I can use and turn over and get a fresh view. I'm using a variety of brands of paints because I have inherited a large number, and let me put this back so you can see that. The greenish tone in the background. Just kind of just wipe out those egg shapes. I may have gotten them a little large. You won't tell anybody. I know I have a lot of planners that follow this channel, people that plan. And I just wonder how everybody's doing on their Q3 and planning for Q4. It's hard to believe it's already almost here. I'm going to start adding a little bit of this greenish back here to get some of that come here, baby. There we go. Yeah, and these paints set out and they've gotten kind of clumpy. So they need a little work. There we go. Kind of a dirty green, greenish yellow is what we want. It's not too bad. This is just the base layer. This is not the, there'll be paint over this if needed. That's the great thing about oil paint, is you can adjust this. Needs a little more greenish, doesn't it? And there's a little onion right in here, like a little, it's higher, or this is lower, maybe both. It kind of comes out of here and goes down. Let's go that way. And at this point, we can just kind of erase those other ones that we don't want. Come on. Put a little more white in there because he gets lighter as he comes over here. This is still sort of a wash and not thick impasto paint, which I love, a thick textured paint. I'm just going to mark that right now, just for our own visual. For my own brain. I can hear birds. This is great. I'm in Kansas, if you don't, for those that might wonder. It's cool here this morning, so it makes it nice here in the studio as far as I don't have sweat dripping off of me or getting overheated. Oops. That's a nice, I don't think I have that dark enough though. And it looks like on the original, like he went back over this part and moved the handle, like the handle was originally over here and higher. But anyway, we have a background to work with now of some type, so it's sitting. It's got something behind it. I'm going to start putting in some of these reddish gold tones. Burnt sienna and yellow ochre. and I was far too stingy with it. Don't be stingy with your paint. I think I'm going to have to put some more burnt sienna out. Reflection of the egg in there. Put a little yellow in there. Warm that up. This over here is more of a yellow ochre. Hey Horizon, how are you doing? Horizon is in the house. He's in the chat. Oh, awesome. He's going to start learning how to do oils this fall. Are you taking a class, or are you just set the goal out for yourself? I love oils. I do. I saw an ad yesterday for Golden Open, and just for a split second I thought about it, and then I was like, oh, I don't know. They'd have to do some real convincing of me. And again, I'm using just mineral spirits on this at the moment, so I know this is too dark, but it's also on there really, really thin. And with the mineral spirits, it will dry fairly quickly. And I'll be able to paint over it with the... So have you, Horizon, have you already bought your paints and all? Or... I'm studying on my own. If I can't get it, I will take a class. Awesome. I think that's an awesome plan. I love them. There's just something about the feel of them. I wouldn't, if I were to start over, I wouldn't use mineral spirits. I would use that gel, which I need to do, I thought I grabbed it, but I think I need to have a paint session with just using this. It's solvent-free gel. And I know a friend of mine that used to teach oils for the college, that's what she used. But anyway, I pulled those out more as a self-reminder so that because yeah, I need to do that. I need to be doing more work of my own also, which is one reason I'm wondering about the oil pastels that we do on Thursdays. They may have to go by the wayside so I can do what I need to do. This is crooked, I can tell. Well, I'm excited for you. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. There's just, yeah, there's just something about the feel of oils. This is a weak round brush from Transin. Weak in that it's more for gouache or watercolor. But I'm just going ahead and using it. Do you know the musician Ren? No, not right off. I really like, if you're buying them, I usually suggest the 1980, these Gamblins, because you get a decent set. I use a lot of burnt umber, so I will go and buy myself a tube. There, well, the tube I have is an old tube. Buy myself an extra tube of burnt umber and maybe even a white. But I've started buying this size for replacement. Oops. And this is what I have been using, is this. But these last a long time. But the quality of paint for the price, I think, is good. You can get a set for under $50 at Dick Blick. And it comes with a panel, a painting panel underneath it, a cradled panel. Instead of using cardboard to box their things, they put it inside the panel, and then I like how they're conscious like that too. Didn't use it. But you may find that you like a different brand. I don't know. Yeah, it's in there. The color quality's not, yeah. See, like this says Series 1. This is black. I think it says PB something 9 on that one. But yeah, they do have the colors listed on the backs of the tubes too. Anywho's, it's I've gotten some of the more expensive brands, and I mean, they're good, but I go through them so quickly if you paint a lot. And that's been one of my issues when I try and get companies to like sponsor. One is I don't have 12,000 followers, or 10,000 followers, sorry. And the other is that I don't use some of the more expensive paints I'd like to be able to use because I don't have them on my suggested. But I don't want to have them on my suggested if I'm not using them on a daily basis, because yeah, it seems insincere and just unethical. I could just say, yeah, use that Michael Harding, or I do love Michael Harding paints. They're great. They really are. He makes them, they're made by hand. Anyway, I've gone off on kind of a tirade. No, go right ahead. Sorry, I got a message from Facebook on my screen. Horizon was asking if he could link a portrait that he did in the chat. I am all for it. We're here to learn from each other. Sorry, I'm focusing on trying to get this little doohickey. That's the technical term, doohickey. Oh wow, that would be hard. Yeah. If you are on the replay, you should be able to access the link that Horizon just put up, and he says it's of a young woman in Gaza. There was a TikTok video of a young woman that was running from the Hyundai raid over the weekend, and she put her face on there and of her running. I hope I hope it doesn't come back to bite her. And you know what I mean. Oh, that's so cool. You were able to get it to her. That's awesome. That would take some doing, I would think. We do not discuss politics in here, but we do talk about current events, and I should say we do talk about politics, but we don't debate them. Put it that way. Because I think everybody knows where I stand, and I'm not going to change anybody's mind. I'm old enough to know that. And I've had artists that I know that are Jewish, that are sickened by what is happening, and they've gotten attacked because of it, because they are. So you're more than welcome to be here for the art. I am a firm believer that if you do not say something, you're complicit. And there's some channels that say they want to keep their channel free of those things, which I understand. But if your viewers don't know where you stand, chances are, I hate to say it, but you're probably on the other side of history. That's kind of a blanket statement, isn't it? I just need some yellow in here. I was talking to through a third party. I was talking to a sister-in-law yesterday, and she was saying she's essentially she's thankful that her mother is no longer alive to see what is happening, because she was a very devout Christian. She was the definition in a lot of people's eyes, and she would just be sickened. Painting. Putting in a few highlights in here just to, I'm getting ahead of myself a little, but I'm going to go with it. My mother-in-law was probably the kindest woman you would ever meet in your life. And I don't say that lightly. Let's see if I can get this little... I want to do some more portraits. I haven't been. I have beautiful grandchildren that I should be doing portraits of. And I do mean beautiful. I have redheads, and I have blonde hair, and I have brown hair, and everything in between. I was looking at some of my work yesterday, and I want to make some changes. Let's see, is there a disadvantage of using just oil? Is thinning used to extend oil, or does it serve another purpose? It's just, I'm trying to work fat over lean. So the first layer, I want it really thin, and then I build up to a thicker, heavier layer. So usually I will do this part with just the mineral spirits and the paint, and then I will use just the paint, and then I'll go over it anywhere where I need to with the walnut oil mixed in with the paint, and that's fatter. So I usually, essentially there's 3 layers that I put on there. I don't let it dry in between on these because these are just studies, and we're just going through it real quick. But I still use fat over lean. If you go the other way, it cracks when it dries. If you go lean over fat, but chances are ours would not get dry enough for it to matter a whole lot, because I'm putting it all on here, alla prima, pretty much in one day. One day. I've been watching some people do raku pottery on this bowl or whatever it is. It reminded me of it. I love raku pottery. Sorry, my brain just kind of skipped there. But yeah, that's why I use the because I don't want to. I've just gotten in that habit, and technically it's how you're supposed to. I could start out and just put heavy on there, but chances are that if I made an error, I'd have to wipe it off instead of just waiting for it to get thinner. Whoops, that's not what I want. I grabbed the wrong brush. Somewhere, I don't think I put it on this video. I have a discount on these brushes where you can get 10% off these Transin brushes. I need to start putting it in my descriptions. There is a list of, oh, I did put on, yeah, I put it on the list. I put it on the list that's on my website. There's a link in there on the website list of the materials that I use. I wish I had a discount code for the gambling. That would be awesome. But I don't. Haven't got there yet. If you can't tell on camera, this right here and right here, the tape is there. So going beyond that point is pointless at this point in time. I'm really excited that you're going to do oils. Doesn't it just like, doesn't it feel like more grown up or more like official? I know it isn't, but I'm also going to be learning landscapes because I will be beginning all over again. That scares me. But have you thought about, are you going outside to do them? Are you going to be doing any plein air? Even just like in your yard? Or, you know, like sitting on your porch and doing some? Get off there. I wonder if it would help you see. Yeah. That's awesome, though, that you're setting the challenge up for yourself. I think. I think it's cool. I do. This egg is too big. Come on, get down there. You're too big too. For now, you're going to work from reference. I'm thinking it's so nice outside here that I should be outside. But I just haven't done it. I live in a very picturesque community too. If I weren't such a recluse, I would be one of those that was downtown on Saturdays. We've been going at it for almost an hour, so we're doing pretty well, I think. For Wow, my eggs are too big on here. They should be like up here. And that should be over there. Probably next year. I went out and bought like special stuff so I could do it this year. This summer that just passed. And then I never did it. I don't think I even so much as went out in the yard to do it. And it was a lot of the reasons, just couldn't get up the nerve. Or I had something else going on inside that I needed to get done first. At least that's what I told myself. But I really need to get on the ball and start doing more of my own. You love to go to Acadia National Park and paint once I know what I'm doing. That would be awesome. That would be fun. I have this dream of turning my old Explorer vehicle into like a car camping situation. Hey. And going and like painting in the Flint Hills and all of Kansas. Have I done it? No. But I really want to. I do. One of my problems is poncho. It's not totally my nerves. It's, or whether I have the nerve to do it or not. It's, what am I going to do with poncho? Because I don't know that I'll be able to take him with me. And my husband works outside of the home. So he's not going to be able to. It's almost like having a child with poncho. You need to head out. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you a great, great deal. This is coming right along. It shouldn't take me too much longer, really, to finish this. If I really focus, get after it. I'm very fortunate that I have friends with beautiful gardens. We have walking trails around here. We have historical buildings. It's an artist-friendly community. And I don't feel like I take full advantage of it in the least. And it's nobody's fault but my own. So I need to do something about that. I don't know what. I think that looks pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Yep. I'm gonna just keep working on this. This, like I said, has kind of a bluish gray in here. I'm going to start using a little bit of the walnut oil. To go over. What I like about his work is he uses everyday objects. I mean, there are things that you would walk by at any time of the day and not think twice about. But he makes them very important. Let me read some more about some of the notes about his info. First off, the base tones on this. We started with warm, earthy tones, burnt sienna, and some reds. Mid-tones we built up with some yellow ochre, which is what we've got in here. There's a slide right in there. I'm looking at, and this right here is red. It's not a, it's very much a reddish orange. It's not subtle in there. I don't particularly care for this paintbrush at this time. I should change. I should change. We'll go in here with some of this bluish gray. That right there needs to come in. That needs to come in. The highlights, he uses the lead white. I'm using titanium mixed with Naples yellow for that soft, creamy look. I've got some I want to be able to see the brush strokes in here. I don't want it to just blend into the, and that yellow, you can really see it right here where the eggs are reflected. The warm tones of the copper. Let's get some white in there. I have a lot of information about him, I just haven't been reading it. More involved with the painting. The reflections of the copper picks up colors around it. If there's a cloth nearby, I need to glaze those areas, or that has a very dark. I think this comes up here too. Got that, this mouth part. I think I've got it too. Or whatever that is, the handle. I assume it's a handle on this pot, or just like a soup bowl. The overall feeling of it is subdued. It's not in your face. His still lifes usually contain fruit, kitchen items, glassware, game. You know, if he's been hunting, there might be like a pheasant or a duck. But whatever he painted, he seemed to treat it with dignity and respect. It wasn't a lesser than. It wasn't like, oh, I'm not doing a portrait, so why would I worry about, that perspective or that spending time making that look correct. You see, I have, maybe this just isn't down far enough. I think that's it. I don't have the pot down far enough. So let's move it down some. The bottom of it. He did genre scenes, often with women and children. Ooh, I like that color. Servants engaged in just simple routine tasks. He later influenced realist and modern painters. Cezanne and even 20th century artists admired his simplicity and honesty. So I think it's safe to say he was a painter's painter and not, he wasn't a lot of flash. He did what what the paint required, and not put on. He didn't put on a show. I'm sure you've seen some of those that, yeah, they dress to the nines and they do flourishes. Yeah, he's much more, this is what I'm painting and this is what matters. Oh, that's so pretty. I love that orangey. I love painting copper. I really think I need to spend me some time this week doing more of my own. Let's see, what could I work on? I know that one really needs work. I'm at that point to where everything I make, it's like, ugh, why can't I do that better? I want to do that better than that. Okay, let's see. He was born a son of a master carpenter and cabinet maker. He came from a modest family, artisan family, not aristocracy. So I think today, if his parents were welders per se, or somebody that did something that required skill, well, it says master carpenter and cabinet maker, so yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. He trained at the Académie de Saint-Luc and became better associated with the Académie Royale. How do you pronounce that? Saint L-U-C-K. L-U-C. Did you all see the, I don't know if it's real or not, the TikTok of the young ladies that were going to Nice, France, Nice, France, and wound up in Tunisia because they didn't read their tickets and they misunderstood them or something. I don't know if it's legit or not, but I caught part of it last night. Trying to soften this a little. I'm putting some yellow ochre in there. He was married to Marguerite Saintard, A-R-D, Saintard, and they had children, but she unfortunately died when she was very young. So that was his first marriage. It is 1731. So he would have been 32. In an era that prized mythology and historical grand painting, he gave way to ordinary life and humble objects. And this is just a reminder to yourself, to you and to myself, that this is just a study. It's not a copy. I often have to keep repeating that to myself because I will mess with these little details far too long. let's see, his second marriage, he married in 1744, so he would have been 45, so he waited quite a while. He married Francois Marguerite Puget. So yeah, he waited a good long time. His family life was marked by both affection and personal tragedy. One of his sons, Jean-Pierre Chardin, also became a painter, but unfortunately he died at sea in his 20s, which devastated Chardin. I don't know why I'm worrying about this little old whatever this is and not worrying about all this. So I need to get away from this little thing here. He was known to be a modest, quiet, and thoughtful man. I'm going to just keep using this one. This brush. Very different from the flamboyant Rococo personalities of his time. His contemporaries, like Diderot, praised him for his sincerity and down-to-earth nature. He lived much of his life in Paris, supported by the Academy, royal pensions, and commissions. I know this is a small brush, but some of this... I don't know if you can hear that from the outside, but I don't know if it's from the plant in town or if it's like crickets. Let me inspect this on my, because we've been at it for an hour and a half. Let's see. I need to make this more important. This is not, this is not, that little doohickey on the left is not like that. It is spotty reflections, not, or highlights, not all. That's a little closer. That's closer. That's closer to my little thingy-majig down there. And then this back here is more gray. Let's see what that looks like on the reflection. See if I got that. I got this. I cannot think off the top of my head who next week is, but I will look here because I'm curious. I was keeping these all in a sketchbook, but unfortunately the paint began to not dry fast enough. So these are on individual sheets of paper that are attached to this. Or stretched. On this drawing board. And as soon as I'm done with them for the day, I take them off of here. And I've been just putting them on the wall out of the way to dry. This is making me want to get out some art books and study a little bit. I wish I was fortunate enough to have a copy of Richard Schmidt's book. But unfortunately, it's expensive, but I've seen a copy of it through the state library, and it was, I could see why it was priced the way it was. I wish they'd re-release it or something. I imagine that would lower the value of some of the ones that are out. Sorry, I'm just kind of right here needs lighter. Really love these little eggs right here. Come on. I'm trying to get some white. I think I got too much walnut oil on this part. So it's just not wanting to lay down there. Come on. The paint that I'm using is the white is some Permalba that I've had. And I'm not used to... Hey, how are you doing? Thank you. I'm not used to... It's kind of sticky in a way. The white. Permalba. Come on. So far, this is just a study. So what sounds good for lunch? What is on the menu? That sound you're hearing, if you can hear it, is Pancho barking in his sleep. He's I'm thinking a salad sounds good. We bought some of those pre-made salads from Walmart, and I mean, I know they're not a gourmet meal or fresh from the garden, but I like them. And they do the job. They're so a little healthier. No, this is a study, not a copy, right? so steady, not a copy. You know who I'd love to go and just spend the weekend with? An artist on YouTube, Sandy Hester. But she recently moved to London, so, or England. I don't know where she's at in the big scheme of England, but either food from the deli down the road or a sandwich from the fridge. That would be nice to have a deli right down the road. We have a restaurant that's about a half a block away, but it doesn't keep, it doesn't, it's not open a lot of hours. And unfortunately, it's a lot of fried foods. They do have a grilled chicken salad that's really good. I'm trying to eat better. I'm not getting any younger. Granted, I'm not depriving myself either, but my poor eating habits are catching up to me. So I just need to. Poor eating and not exercising. All things that are my fault. But still here. I had parents that were very health conscious. Or, well, let me say they tried to be. They professed to be. But you sure would find the junk food in their kitchen. His highlights on things were very subtle. They were not a stark white with a lot of contrast. They were necessities that were there. That they were not the first thing you saw necessarily. A little white piece right there. Is anyone going to, just totally unart related, the video summit or summit in the first, what, 7th through 10th or something like that of October? It's a conference. Nobody? I won tickets to it. I've never been. So that'll be cool. Okay, I think the background, what is that? Not to get on there. I didn't see that fall, so I'm not sure where that came from. Or when that got there. It's a sign I need to pay closer attention. It's not a copy. Not a copy. It's a study. It's a study. I wish I had gotten the name of the artist that did the Rembrandt I saw when I was going through YouTube earlier. It was amazing. I've done a study of a portrait of his, but not full size. Not a full size copy. It was pretty amazing. And it seems like it was somebody I follow or used to follow. If I find it out, I'll give it a shout out. It was awesome. I think we're getting down to where I'm just kind of picking away at it for a study. I want to do better on the background. I think the background is really weak. His is very textured, but I don't think I have it close enough. It's a study. It's a study. It's not a copy. I could have left it as it was. But I would have felt like I wasn't doing it justice. Even if it's not exactly the same. What I studied of him said he would have used a verdigris. And I'm assuming, I don't want to get too much in there. I'm assuming some burnt umber. And it looks darker on your screen on than what's on my reference photo up here. Yours is looking a lot more green in here. I have the software over here that I'm streaming it with. And then I have the reference photo over here. And like I said earlier, it looks like there was a correction made, like right here. He had the original handle and he moved it. Ooh, that looks pretty close-ish. I like how he used just ordinary things. I did, what is his name that I did last week? But he did just very muted colors. Ooh, just dropped a paper towel. And use the same objects over and over. Which was really interesting. If you looked at his paintings, they were, you know, he would just take one object and move it to another location and then repaint the whole thing. Those of you that come for the oil pastel on Thursdays may not be happening this week, in part because we're having the roof repaired and they're going to be, and I don't know what day that's falling on. We're kind of at their mercy, which I really don't mind because I understand what they're dealing with here. I am in a very rural area, and the owner of the roofing company, which is a family-run business, passed away. So we have not been pushing a great deal. I don't know why that just doesn't look like an onion to me. Okay. What you think? What you think? What you doing? Let's see. Let's see if there's any life information on him. In his later years, his eyesight weakened in the 1770s, and that pushed him away from oil painting and going toward pastel portraiture, making remarkable self-portraits. He did die in Paris in 1779 after a long life dedicated almost entirely to art. And this brush I'm using is a Rosemary & Co. round pointed ivory, odd, just a 0. That needs to be lighter in there. I'm just trying to get some of this surface in here in the center. Get it. See a little bit of green in here and here. I don't know if it is a reflection from the pot, from this pot, or if it's just some of that on there. I'm seeing if I had any other notes on him. He did once say that one uses colors, but one paints with feelings. The key isn't the copper, it's the stillness and dignity of the ordinary things. We are right at 2 hours. Are we good or what? I'm just kind of I'm looking here. I'm gonna putter here for just a little bit. Yeah, I know it's not exact. That needs just a smidge right there. Just a smidge and a half. Oh, I see. There's a little bit of onion kind of sticking out there. Makes it look more oniony. And this is not quite white enough. That needs softened. And then I think I'm going to quit playing with it. Okay, I could keep picking away at this. And, whoop, my hair hit the camera. Trying to get the edge of this a little better. My poor little eggs. Okay, let's see if we can get some white on those eggs. Because I know I don't want to have this set either for months to dry. Let's call that good. Let's just go with that. It's not perfect. It's a study. I think anything else that I do to it is going to be so minuscule that it's not really going to make a whole heck of a lot of difference. I have a very hard time stopping, if you can't tell. Let's take that off of there. Okay. I'm just taking my gloves off. I reuse my gloves quite often. I'm hoping this will not pull the paper away. Ooh, that gave it a nice clean edge. Oops. Whoops, what's that? Get me off of there. The tape is coming off nice and clean without any paper attached to it. That's good. There we go. Okay. I think what I'm going to do, because I feel like he would have done it for one, and I failed to do it, was to put any black on here. On the really dark areas. Like down here. Or in here. Not really big areas, just little bitty. Itty bitty. Teeny weeny. And I just saw something on this edge. On the right hand side. Right in here. A little bit of kind of like a highlight. Oops. Now this is just the ultramarine, or not ultramarine, but the burnt umber. I'm just laying it down. Laying it down. I've got this back here. I didn't notice that. See that background, how I've got it? Don't like that. Okay, let's call that good. You want to call that good? Okay, I'm gonna get my handy dandy. Oop, I see something else. Man, I swear I could sit here, like I said, all day. And just go over every little detail. What I'm writing on here is his name, that it's an oil paint study on gessoed watercolor paper, and that I did this as a live demo on September the 8th. On YouTube. Let's put a YT on there. What do you think? I see. this right here. Needs to be lighter underneath there. Okay. I see so much that I would do a little different. Oh well. Okay. Quit playing with it. Quit. Okay. I'm putting her down. Okay. There we go. All right. That's what we have today for our master study. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you all more than I can say, and I hope to see you at the next one. Let's see who the next one is. We've gone 2.5 hours. That's almost perfect. Let's see. I'm pulling it up. Let's see. Henry Fontaine Latour, and it's a still life of flowers, which looks really interesting. I am going to go ahead and make it public too, so you can see what it is. But here's this one. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you all. Thank you for being here. Stay safe and take care of each other.